How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We're back to the album reviews, and I've had this a while actually. I've fallen right behind, but here we go. This is the new album from Wolves at the Gate, and this is Wasteland. Uh, Wolves at the Gate are one of the modern um, metalcore bands in the Christian scene, um, sort of in the same league really as Demon Hunter or War of Ages. If you take that early 2000s metalcore sort of formula where basically it was metallic hardcore with clean vocals in the chorus, that's kind of how it became, the more it developed and got more mainstream. And they're now introducing sort of more sort of electronic leanings. There's sort of loops and drum machine patterns and whatnot, and real big sung choruses. So they can go really heavy and sort of they could share a stage with someone like Parkway Drive or Killswitch Engage, but then on another day they could open for someone like Linkin Park, and all they would have to do is sort of tweak their set list to suit either audience. But they're good. They're good songwriters. Everything's enjoyable. It's they're not in the heavier side of things, but they've got a lot of hooks and catchy choruses to keep the album sort of going, and they become effortless listens. Great for they're great soundtrack for summer, and really good gym soundtracks as well. I jumped on board with their last album, Eulogies. The track in particular, Lights and Fire, I absolutely fell in love with. And I think this album's phenomenal. I tried getting, as a collector, their stuff's really hard to get hold of. And anywhere that is selling it, the postage just makes it just undoable. So, but it seems, especially in this scene, they don't really seem to be very bothered about physical media. It's like, on one hand, you've got the music industry complaining that no one buys music or buys physical media, and then it just seems on the other hand, another generation have just kind of given up on it and aren't really bothered. They're like, well, I'm guessing with printing and distributing, it's with postage, you're probably spending a tenner to earn a fiver. I'm guessing so. They seem to be quite happy just sticking it on your Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and either buy the download or make up numbers from streaming. But I guess we can get into the album. So listening to the band's back catalogue, what you normally get with metalcore bands is they start really heavy, then they start introducing the clean vocals, and you normally see what starts with screaming and growling and barking and hardcore chants and big breakdowns. The debut album of any metal band, really, especially ones that are self-taught and don't really know what the songs tend to be just a bunch of riffs. What's the word? Welded together, and sections of songs welded together until it makes a song, and then that makes an album. And then as they develop as songwriters, that sort of falls on the wayside. And you normally find you'll get harsh vocals up front, dominant, and then there'll be one or two songs with a bit of clean vocals just to change up. And then bit by bit, the clean vocals become more prominent, normally as the singer improves. And then bit by bit, it kind of evens out. And then the clean vocals kind of take over. This especially is a dangerous thing, though, for bands, when you have a singer who does all the harsh stuff up front. He gets the crowd going, he's jumping into the crowd, he's pitting, he's thinking. And in those early shows, when you're playing small venues, that's what people want. Then, if the clean vocals is handled by another member of the band, now, I remember this from experience when I was in my band days, switching from harsh vocals to clean vocals is really hard technique. You didn't just go on YouTube and learn how to do it. It was hard, and it was specifically hard to do in the studio. But it was, there's a switch live, and it can be harsh on your vocals. So what you normally get is the harsh vocalist is up front, not always, but generally speaking. It was the other way round for Funeral for a Friend. The harsh vocals was done by the drummer. But take a band like Atreyu, harsh vocals as the front man, and the drummer used to do all the clean vocals. Then you get other bands where the guitarist does the clean vocals, and this is what you get with Wolves at the Gate. So you got your front man doing all the harsh vocals, and the guitarist doing all the clean vocals and the sung choruses. And what tends to happen is the band's songwriting develops into more melodic, more choruses. It just happens as you get better as a songwriter. It doesn't matter who you are. Look at Carcass, you know. They were, you know, people still, you know, there's some people out there that hate Heartwork, let alone Swan Song, you know, just because it's melodic and it's well produced. But I'm digressing. And it looked to me from studying their back catalogue that the clean vocals were taking over, and the harsh vocalists kind of just becoming a spare, you know what, a wedding. And but it's all good news, because this album evens out perfectly. It seemed like the guitarist, vocalist, I'll have to look these guys' names up. He was kind of starting to take over, but on this new album, no, it seems like it's a lot heavier than the last album as well. This is definitely the heaviest album they've done in a while. Seems like it's come sort of full circle. They've kind of gone more and more into the melodic, into the clean vocals, into the, you know, accessible, shall we say. And there it seems like they've come full circle by returning to the heaviness, but incorporating what they've learnt on the way. So you got Nick Detty on vocals and Steve Kabuchi, I want to say, on vocals and guitar. I think he's the main songwriter as well. Might as well read the whole thing out now. Ben Summers on bass, Abishai Collingsworth on drums, and Joey Alacon on guitar. And there's a lot of back and forth now between Nick and Steve, and they're complementing each other. So to the point where if Nick is doing the harsh vocals, Steve is backing him up in slightly less of harsh vocals, while when Steve takes over on clean vocals, Nick is backing him up. He's like the background singer in the clean, and now there's a synergy between the two. It looked like it was getting a little uneven, but like I say, this is very bouncy. It's hook laden, big choruses as well, very anthemic, sing along, with some electronic loops thrown in as well. And it kind of leans in Linkin Park territory with your more modern Parkway Drive, but very good, very enjoyable. So to really mess things up, well, not mess things up, but to complicate matters further, this is a concept album, and you've got two pretty much not full length, but you've got a quarter of an hour one and a 8-minute video, where you've got a story going through and the songs come in later on. It's like a Michael Jackson video, you know, like a mini movie. You've got two so far, and apparently there's more to come. But this is full production. There's actors, full production, full scenes. You know, it's filmed on location. And at one point, I forgot I was watching a music video. When the music kicked in, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And it's almost like the song. And apparently the song is describing the story and what's going on, and then that song becomes the soundtrack to the mini movie that you're watching. It's good. I mean, they've spent a couple of pounds on it. So, and it's set in as per usual, when you do a concept album, you're playing with fire, really. Not a lot of bands pull them off. So, but I think they have pulled it off. With the usual tropes, though. So you have to find that balance between making the songs flow with the story, and it's hard enough getting an out, like sequencing the song orders of an album is it's something people don't appreciate how important that is, the sequencing of the songs. So if you're doing this with a story narrative, you need to sequence the songs with the story, and it doesn't always work, and often it doesn't. You know, your favourite concept album will be one of the few that actually work. Once you start looking into concept albums, you've got your Operation Mindcrime, The Wall, Quadrophenia, but then it's a long way down, Um, so it's set in some sort of futuristic post-apocalypse dystopian world. Think Mad Max. And there's a story about some sort of enforcer that's on the wrong side, shall we say, who seems to have a metanoia. You look that word up. And has a change of heart, a change of perspective, much like Paul. And it seems to be going down that road. And like I say, you need to have songs that flow in the sequence and follow the narrative, but you need the songs also to be distinctive. And it has that. They've pulled it off. This flows wonderfully. It's 35 minutes, 13 tracks, couple of little interludes here and there, but none of them are like 30 second just dun, 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 like that sort of crap that you get. These interludes, they've still got vocals on it, so they're kind of mini songs. The only one really is the intro track where it's just nothing, but it does lead into the song and serves its purpose. So it's very fast moving, 35 minutes. Each song does flow nicely to the thing. So you've got a vague concept that doesn't make much sense. And this is a little bone of contention I have. I was just saying earlier about how, bands complain that people don't buy physical media anymore. Well, for someone who does, it's getting harder and harder to justify these days because I literally just got an envelope. Like, considering this is a concept album, I could have got some artwork, I could have got some writing, could have at least got the lyrics, for God's sake. So, yeah, could have got more, really, considering what I'm holding in my hand. But with that being said, the videos and whatnot and the ones that are to come will probably make up for that. And again, everything's online now. I'm just an old man yelling at clouds. So let's get into the album. So you got an intro track and then you go into The Wasteland, Pain. Very heavy, very bouncy, very choppy. Back and forth. It's really good. It takes a few listens to really get your head around the song because there is a lot going on, and I've no doubt for a second it's going to go down really well live. You've got Parasite, which is one of the videos that was made. Parasite. It seamlessly leads into Parasite as well. First clean chorus of the album, really catchy, really memorable. Another leads into the next song, which is a standout one for me since Synthetic Sun. It's got that chorus. I can't remember the words, don't know them, but you will be singing that for ages. It's an earworm. Again, opens up massively, really good. Wondering is another sort of interlude, but it does have vocals, so it's more of like a mini song. Law of the Wasteland's really good. Big bounces, like big sort of bouncy rhythms, big grooves. Got a bit of a hardcore feel to it, this track as well. Really good. This one is for the pit, much like the opening track. False Devils, again, big choruses, big anthemic choruses. Linkin Park vibes on this one, which then next up we got Death Clock, which is another highlight for me. Really good song, really good vocals when it comes into the I'm calling for you, and then it goes up with that thing, I ain't gonna do it, but sounds awesome, and it's right in the middle of a heavy song, so it just breaks everything up. It's really good. Memento Mori is another big sort of mid-pace track with, again, big epic chorus, and it's kind of like the climax of the album, even though it's not the. You have one. Unrest is the closing of the album, and it closes the album well. But Memento Mori is the sort of the big showdown of the album, and no doubt will be like the big centerpiece of the live show. Overall, though, works really well. I wouldn't object to if the band chose to do the album in full. That tends to be the thing to do with a concept album. I wouldn't object to it. I wouldn't feel shortchanged. They could get away with it as well because it's only 35 minutes. If they just ploughed through it, they could then have time to do like 4 or 5 songs on the end as well, depending on what sort of set they play. They tend to, from what I've looked, they tend to do these like touring packages where it's like 4 or 5 bands. That's what everyone does now. So I don't know, with an hour set, yeah, they could probably do a couple of singles on the end if they did like a headline set or something like that. But if they're not going to, me, if I was in the band, I would definitely open with Pain. But Parasite, Synthetic Sun, and Death Clock, I think, would be non-negotiable. I'd be like, you definitely need to play them. And I would definitely do Memento Mori, but I would probably save that one for a headline show. But no, really enjoyable, really good. Another addition to a great catalogue, along with the last album, Eulogies. Lowborn, I really like that as an EP, but again, I can't find it anywhere out there. Get it as a download. But yeah, one of the bands I've discovered in my journey recently, and I'm really enjoying them. So, Wolves at the Gate, Wasteland, definitely worth checking out, and that's an awesome cover. Is that a vinyl one? Oh, I can't afford vinyl, but I do really like that artwork though. So, yeah, that's about all for now. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Cheers.